Good morning to all us. Here we will present material about bilingualism and diglosia. I will present material about the nature of the bilingualism and diglosia, and my friends will continue his material about the factor causing bilingualism on this association. I will start the presentation. The nature of bilingualism and diglosia. The first, bilingualism, namely with regard to the use of two languages or two linguistic codes. In a sociolinguistic perspective, bilingualism is defined as the use of two languages by a speaker in their interaction with other people in turn. Bilingualism according to expert 1. Wainwright argues that bilingualism is the habit of using two or more languages interchangeably. 2. Bloomfield defines bilingualism as an equally good mastery of two languages or native-like control of two languages. Master of two languages with the same fluency and accuracy as a native speaker is extremely difficult to measure. 3. Mackey defines bilingualism as the habit of using two or more languages by someone, or the alternative use of two or more languages by the same individual. 4. Haugen expressing bilingualism by knowing two languages or knowledge of two languages. It is enough to know two languages passively of understanding without speaking. 5. Oxa argues that bilingualism does not only belong to individual, but must be treated as belonging to a group, thus enable a bilingual society. Judging from several opinions about bilingualism, according to Express, it can be concluded that bilingualism is closely related to the use of two or more languages by a bilingualism or bilingual community in turn. People who can use both languages are called bilingual people. In Indonesia, they are called bilinguals. While the ability to use two languages is called bilinguality, in Indonesia it is also called bilingualism. The second, diglosia. Diglosia is a language situation in which there is a function division of language variation or language that exist in society. What is meant is that there is difference between written language and spoken language. For example, in Indonesia, there is a difference between written language and spoken language. The term diglosia was term used in French diglosia, which was taken from the Greek. Bilinguals by the Greek linguistic colonials, the Arabic linguistic William Marchand also used it to write about the language situation in the Arab world. However, the term diglosia becomes famous in linguistic studies after being used by C.A. Ferguson, a Stanford University scholar, at a symposium on urbanization and standard language, organized by the American Anthropology Association in Washington, D.C. Ferguson used the term diglosia to describe a condition of a society in which there are two variations of one living language and each has a specific role. Ferguson discussion this diglosia by presenting 9 topics, namely function, prestige, literacy, heritage, exclusion, standardization, grammatical, lexicon, and phonological. B. Factor causing bilingualism. The basic of social linguistics is that individuals are seen as members of social group These social groups play various roles in display behavior, including linguistic behavior. The exclusion of a language other than the native language result in bilingualism. And this happens because two languages that are in contact, as speaking of a language can learn elements of other language. Linguistic contact occurs because supporters of each language can become bilingual based on certain reasons, such as population movement for political, social, or economic reasons, nationalism, culture and education factor, merit factor, and so on. A. Migration or people. Population movement in groups has various reasons such as security, military, economic, education, political, religious, and natural disaster. Usually, this movement result in bilingualism as a result of contact between new residents and residents who have lived in the area for a long time. Okay, my friends will continue his material about this factor causing belongingness on dissociation.
B. Nationalism and political system. Since the 19th century, the identity of language and nation has become an important element in the struggle of a group as a nation. The spirit of nationalism has had a great influence on the determination and dissemination of the national language and has established a certain degree of bilingualism in many countries. There are a number of writers who argue that every nation should have one national language. People who do not have their own language are only half the nation. A nation must defend its language and this is a defense that is more important than a fortress. The national attitude towards language often leads to the spirit of the national language rather than the spirit of regional language, and this leads to bilingualism among the population. If states populace are more moderate and democratic, and the political and legislative system support regional development that is comprehensive and prudent from which call bilingualism will survive. As a fact of language usage of the population. Theme: education and culture. Bilingualism as a result of education and culture is nothing new. The expression was born that being educated or intellectual means being bilingual. McKay in Komarudin 1990. For example, nowadays, if a scholar goes to Hangar level, he must be able to speak English. This will make the person will master two or more languages. If that person has a regional language, such as Japanese, then Indonesia and English. This is what causes that education and culture as one of the factors of bilingualism were born. The relationship between bilingualism and diglosia. As stated above, that bilingualism and diglosia are related to the mastery of two or more languages in society. The following is the relationship between the two. 1. Bilingual diglosia society. That is, people who master two or more languages that are used interchangeable, but each language has its own role. For example, the Indonesian people use Indonesian as the state language and regional language as an intergroup language. This can be seen also in Malaysia with English and Malay, the Philippines with English and Tagalog, and in Haiti with French and Haitian Creole. 2. Bilingual society but not diversity. Namely, people who master two or more languages that are used interchangeable, with each language having the same role. This can be seen in the people of Montreal, Canada. 3. A non-bilingual but diglosia society. It is a feature of a society because states born consist of two groups, each of which is monolingual, and when communicating requires the presence of an interpreter. This kind of picture occurred in Europe before World War II. 5. 4. Non-bilingual and non-diglosia society. It is a picture of a pure monolingual society without any variation in language use. Nowadays, it is very difficult to get a picture of a non-bilingual and non-diglosia society. Okay, that's the material from us. To friends who want to ask question, please type a question in the comment column.